They say that Michelo got stuck in Venezuela. Attention! Michelo went back to Venezuela and got stuck. The last two airlines that were left cancelled all their flights. The Dictator Fun arrived in Venezuela and the two remaining airlines cancelled all their flights. So he got stranded there. And they're showing us a video of Michelo. Attention.
Well, here we are arriving in Venezuela through Wingo. We've arrived in Venezuela. Oh, we'll keep reporting. Don't let them fool you.
That's right. Michelo has already left Honduras. He went back to Venezuela and returned with the airline Wingo. But it turns out that yesterday Wingo cancelled all its flights to Venezuela.
Friends, I'm heading back to Venezuela from Honduras after covering the elections. Here is the ticket I'm using for my trip. Copa Airlines. Now, by the way, I'm saying goodbye to this beautiful country of Honduras. Honestly, it's very beautiful. I loved it. Look, it says Caracas there. Who's flying with Copa Airlines? And we're here in Panama. As you can see, this is Panama. I have my ticket from Panama to Bogota because, well, the direct flights to Caracas are full.
Here we see Michelo had a layover in Bogota, Colombia. Basically, he first used Copa Airlines and then Wingo, but even so, Michelo was saying, no, Copa Airlines, of course it flies to Caracas. What happened is that there was no space left, there were no seats available, and that's why I couldn't take that flight. And he was right. However, there's a problem. Pay attention, Copa Airlines and Wingo confirmed the suspension of flights to and from Venezuela, and after that news, this was announced. Venezuela's main airport with no flights from foreign airlines this Friday. That's right, just as you hear. No foreign airline is flying to Venezuela at this moment, none. Not even Colombian Airlines. Even with Gustavo Petro insisting over and over again, and that's the thing guys, the situation is quite delicate for these airlines. Even if they wanted to fly to Venezuela, the situation is very complicated. Let's say it's a high-risk flight, so it's a flight that has a very high, very elevated potential danger. And not only would they be putting the integrity of the plane at risk, but also the lives of the passengers themselves. And that's total irresponsibility. Absolute irresponsibility. In fact, the insurance companies contacted the airlines and told them, just so you know, if you want to keep flying to Venezuela, we're not going to cover that in the insurance. The insurance won't cover any mishap, any unforeseen event that happens on that flight, on that plane. And well, that's clearly something quite concerning for the airlines.
Here I have my Wingo ticket from Bogota to Caracas. You can see, here we are with Wingo, which is operating, and there's also Avior. You can see people from Venezuela heading home, and here I am going to Caracas with Wingo. Yes?
We already have a TikTok account, Astro Legendario. Follow me. We'll upload daily videos. The best is yet to come. Astro Recargado on TikTok. But let's see how Michelo makes fun of the flight topic. His argument is that everyone who says the airspace is closed is lying, and in part, he's right. Donald Trump can't close Venezuela's airspace, at least not directly. Donald Trump simply issued a recommendation to airlines not to go because they would be putting the lives and safety of passengers at risk, of the civilians. That's why Donald Trump issued that statement. But obviously, Michelo sells you this as, no, the airlines are still going to Venezuela, and please, I want you to pay special attention to the names of the airlines that Michelo is going to mention from now on. Pay very close attention. Stay alert.
Friends, look at the flights blocked to Caracas. More flights, look. By Laser, by Wingo. We're here at the airport in Colombia. As you can see, Curacao, Panama, and there's Caracas, another airline, more Laser Wingo. I think we can say that there are already 4 airlines that I'm showing you live that are flying to Caracas internationally from Panama, Colombia. Copa Airlines, Wingo, Laser, Avior.
Copa Airlines and Wingo stopped flying to Caracas as of yesterday. That's over, that's finished. And the other 2, pay attention to the following. Laser Airlines is an airline. from Venezuela. Avior Airlines is also an airline from Venezuela, which is based in Barcelona, Venezuela, while Laser Airlines is based in Caracas, Venezuela. But yes, both are Venezuelan airlines. That's why they kept flying and are still flying to this day, because as such, it's not prohibited for Venezuelan airlines to fly abroad for now, unless of course there's an international ban on flying over Venezuelan airspace. In that case, it could definitely happen. Also, another quite likely scenario is that other countries decide they will no longer allow flights to and from Venezuela, which would also be quite understandable given Venezuela's situation.
I suggest avoiding airlines that mistreat customers for political reasons to please Trump. Instead, choose Laser, Wingo, or Avior.
Me to Maduro.
How's it going? Seriously, is that you?
Yeah, can I take a picture?
Yeah. That's wild, but okay.
Michelo, airlines don't do it for political reasons or to look good for Trump. They do it because if they didn't, they would be putting the lives of the passengers at risk, in danger. They would be putting their reputation, their credibility at risk. They would be in danger of losing everything. If Nicolas Maduro suddenly goes crazy, makes a mistake, and shoots down a plane, who is responsible? Maduro. Wait, is the airline also responsible? Incredible but true, because there was already a warning from Donald Trump that it was a dangerous area and he recommended not flying over it. I'm telling you this because in Iran in 2020 that happened. Iran shot down a plane by mistake, a commercial flight.
Donald Trump is going to start ground operations in Venezuela. Explain to me, how is this going to happen?
Look,
On the other side, there's the Caribbean Sea. They have to cross this mountain that reaches up to the sky, literally, to get into Caracas. This is Caracas, surrounded by mountains. Everybody knows it. And as I tell you, on the other side is the Caribbean Sea. I mean, La Guaira is behind that mountain. And well, ask yourself, Loco, how would Donald Trump and the Marine Corps, if they arrive at La Guaira at the Venezuelan coast, how would they cross that mountain? Look then, explain to me. For me, it's not a simple operation, it's actually complicated. And besides, Donald Trump called Nicolas Maduro for a reason, because he knows that he has the real power here. Not Guaido, not Edmundo Gonzalez.
Look, Donald Trump called Nicolas Maduro because he has never liked being an interventionist. And because he doesn't want to get his hands dirty. He wants Nicolas Maduro to step down on his own. He wants this to be an easy and simple operation. And about the American soldiers, please, are these guys stuck in the 70s? The United States operates with drones. They don't even need to send soldiers to carry out those ground operations. They just send a drone and that's it. You're done for. It's just what happens with Michelo is incredible. But anyway, for now it seems like Michelo is getting stuck in Venezuela, that he has no way out, that there's no escape, but of course he still has some ways to get out. And those are the Venezuelan airlines, the few that are still flying outside of Venezuela. Conviasa, for example, still flies to Mexico. And I already said this before. I personally believe that if Michelo manages to escape, if he manages to get out of Venezuela, his destination will be Mexico. But well, only time will tell. See you next time.